The Chinese government has issued a statement on its territorial sovereignty and maritime rights after a ruling by the Arbitration Court in The Hague. The statement says China was the first to discover, to name, explore and exploit the South China Sea islands and their surrounding waters, and the first to have exercised sovereignty and jurisdiction over them continuously, peacefully and effectively, thus establishing territorial sovereignty and rights and interests in the South China Sea. The Chinese government has reaffirmed its rights and interests in maps and a series of legal instruments. The statement says China has sovereignty over islands including the Dongsha, Shisha, Zongsha and Nansha. It has internal waters, territorial sea and a contiguous zone based on these islands. It also has an exclusive economic zone and continental shelf and historical rights in the region. The Chinese government says China has always firmly opposed the invasion and illegal occupation of the islands and reefs of China's South China Sea islands. It also opposes activities infringing upon China's rights and interests in maritime areas under China's jurisdiction. The statement says China is willing to resolve disputes peacefully through negotiation and consultation with states directly concerned and jointly develop relevant areas. It says China respects and upholds the freedom of navigation and overflight enjoyed by all states in the South China Sea. China respects and upholds the freedom of navigation and overflight. China's foreign ministry has also released a statement on the arbitration. The ministry says the tribunal's decision is null and void and has no binding force. China neither accepts nor recognizes it. The statement says the initiation of the arbitration violated international law. It says the subject of the arbitration is an issue of territorial sovereignty. The Philippines' unilateral initiation of arbitration infringes upon China's rights and violates the bilateral agreement reached between China and the Philippines. The statement also says the arbitration violates the commitment made by China and ASEAN member states in the 2002 Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea to resolve the relevant disputes through negotiations by states directly concerned. The statement says China opposes and will never accept any claim or action based on those awards. The Chinese government reiterates that China does not accept any means of third-party dispute settlement or any solution imposed on China. The Chinese government will continue to abide by international law and will continue to work with states directly concerned to resolve disputes in the South China Sea through negotiations and consultations. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker in Beijing. President Xi Jinping says China's territorial sovereignty, maritime rights and interests in the South China Sea will under no circumstances be affected by the arbitration result from The Hague. He says China opposes and will never accept any claim or action based on the decision. President Xi has added that China will safeguard peace and stability in the South China Sea and advocates for the resolution of disputes through dialogue. Foreign Minister Wang Yi has also reiterated China's rejection of the ruling. He says the arbitration was a political farce.
Chinese people will not accept the result, and all people around the world who uphold justice will not accept the result. China's non-acceptance and non-participation is to safeguard the international rule of law and regional rules. Now the farce is over. It's time to get back to the right track. China has taken note of the signals from the Philippine government that is willing to resume discussion with China over the South China Sea issue.